Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at AI.
Okay.
Specifically, some recent news about Nvidia
Mhm.
and their stock price.
Yeah.
You may have seen that it's dropped like $400,000 in value,
Wow.
which is huge for a company that really built their name on GPUs,
Right.
the hardware behind all of the most powerful AI models today.
Yeah.
But it's not just about Wall Street.
Right.
This is kind of a hint that
Mm.
maybe the whole AI landscape is about to go through a pretty big change.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here to figure out.
Okay.
We're going to be looking at some excerpts from Texo Pagado
Sounds good.
to try to understand what's going on.
It's important to remember that NVIDIA's GPUs
Right.
have really been essential for training AI models.
Yeah.
Like ChatGPT especially.
Mm-hmm.
These models need a lot of processing power to analyze data and learn.
Yeah.
And traditionally, GPUs have been the way to do that.
Yeah. ChatGPT.
Right.
The AI that can write code and poems and scripts and all this crazy stuff.
Exactly.
It's a great example of what AI can do.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't be possible without these GPUs.
For sure.
But
Yeah.
here's where things get interesting.
Okay.
There's this new company called DeepSeek,
DeepSeek.
and they're kind of shaking things up a bit.
Interesting.
So what's fascinating about DeepSeek
Yeah.
is that they're doing really well, but they're not relying on all these GPUs.
Mm-hmm.
They're taking a different approach,
Okay.
focusing on making their software and algorithms really, really efficient.
So instead of just brute force computing power,
Exactly.
they're trying to come up with smarter ways to do things.
Yeah. Like if you had to sort 1 million books,
Right.
you could hire a ton of people to do it manually,
Yeah.
or you could come up with a really clever system that does it automatically.
Much more efficient.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's basically what DeepSeek is doing with their software.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
So they're not just throwing more and more powerful hardware at the problem.
Right. They're finding these elegant solutions in the software itself.
That's really interesting.
And I bet you're wondering,
Yeah.
how does this connect to NVIDIA's stock drop?
Yeah, I am actually.
Well, it really comes down to how the market views things.
Okay.
So NVIDIA's investors, they see DeepSeek doing so well.
Right.
And they start to wonder, is the future of AI going to be as dependent on GPUs as it is now?
Right.
What if software can do the same thing, but with less hardware?
Yeah.
That could mean less demand for NVIDIA's products.
That makes sense.
And investors are always trying to look ahead, right? They
Yeah.
want to know what's going to be the next big thing.
Uh-huh.
And if DeepSeek is really onto something,
Right.
it could be a sign that the whole AI industry is about to change.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but what does that mean for the average person?
Right.
People who aren't like Wall Street analysts and investors.
Well, for one thing, it could mean AI solutions become more affordable.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Imagine a world where really powerful AI tools are accessible to smaller companies,
Yeah.
researchers, even individual creators.
Oh.
Because it wouldn't be tied to the price of these expensive GPUs.
So DeepSeek's approach could actually make AI more democratic
Exactly.
and available to more people.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting.
That is pretty exciting.
It is.
But it's still early days.
Right.
I mean, we're just starting to see what software can do.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of challenges to figure out.
Right.
And, NVIDIA isn't just going to sit around and watch this happen.
Right.
They're a big company with a lot of resources.
Yeah.
So they'll probably find ways to adapt and come up with new innovations, too.
This is starting to feel like a real showdown in the AI world,
Yeah.
like a clash between two different philosophies.
Interesting.
On one hand, you have NVIDIA,
Oh, yeah.
this big powerhouse focused on pushing the limits of hardware.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other hand, you have DeepSeek,
Right?
who's all about this software-centric approach.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a classic David and Goliath story.
Yeah. I like that analogy.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
It's not just about who wins.
Right.
It's about what direction this pushes the whole field of AI.
And that's why this is so much more than just a financial analysis.
Right.
This is a glimpse into the future of AI.
Yeah.
What are the different paths it could take?
And it all starts with understanding the technology behind these companies.
Okay.
Their strengths, their weaknesses.
Hmm.
So let's dive a little deeper into DeepSeek's approach
All right.
and how it's different from the traditional reliance on GPUs.
So let's unpack this software magic.
Okay.
What exactly are they doing differently?
Yeah.
And why is it so much more efficient?
So at the core of their approach
Yeah.
is this thing called algorithm optimization.
Okay.
Basically, they're designing algorithms that are super smart about how they use computing resources.
So it's like finding shortcuts in a really complex maze.
That's a good way to put it.
Right.
They're not just trying every path blindly. They're figuring out the most efficient route.
So instead of just relying on raw power,
Right.
they're making their calculations smarter.
Yeah.
Can you give us an example of
Yes.
how they're doing that?
One of the key techniques is data compression.
Data compression.
Yeah, think about it like packing a suitcase.
Okay.
You can fit way more clothes if you roll them up neatly instead of just throwing them in randomly.
Right.
DeepSeek does something similar with data. They compress it without losing any of the important information.
Okay.
So they can process huge amounts of data, but with less computing power.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
They're shrinking the data
Yeah.
to reduce the load on the hardware.
Exactly.
Are there any other techniques they're using?
Yeah. Another area where they're really good is parallelization.
Parallelization.
So they break down these complex tasks into smaller chunks
Okay.
that can be processed at the same time.
So it's like having a team of workers
Yes.
instead of just one. You can get things done faster, even with less powerful hardware.
Exactly.
So it's not just about having a faster computer. It's
Yeah.
about using smarter strategies
Yeah,
to get the most out of what you have.
absolutely.
And it sounds like DeepSeek is really good at this software optimization.
They are.
Yeah.
They're getting impressive results with way less computing power.
Than traditional AI models.
Right.
This is really starting to show us how DeepSeek is shaking things up.
Yeah.
They're not just like a slightly better product.
Right.
It's a totally different vision for AI.
His.
One that prioritizes software innovation
Mm-hmm.
and efficiency over just having the most powerful hardware.
Yeah. I think that's a key difference.
And that's why this Nvidia stock drop is so important. It tells us that investors are starting to notice this new vision.
Yeah.
They're realizing that maybe the future of AI isn't as hardware dependent
Mm-mm.
as we used to think.
Interesting.
Makes you think.
It's like a wake-up call for the whole industry.
Things are changing.
Yeah.
And for you, the listener,
Yeah.
this could mean that AI becomes more accessible
Right.
and more affordable in the years to come.
I like that.
Yeah. Imagine the possibilities if powerful AI tools
Yeah.
aren't just limited to these huge companies with tons of money.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a pretty exciting prospect.
It is.
But as with any big technological shift,
Yeah.
there are going to be some challenges and concerns.
Of course.
So what are some of the potential downsides
Oh.
of this move away from relying so heavily on hardware?
One concern is job displacement.
Job displacement.
As AI gets more efficient and capable,
Right.
it could automate a lot of jobs
Yeah.
that humans currently do,
Like what kind of jobs?
like data analysis,
Okay.
customer service,
Mm.
even software development.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So this shift could create new opportunities, but could also lead to job losses.
Exactly.
That's definitely something to think about. What about the ethical implications?
That's a really important question.
Yeah.
As AI becomes more integrated into our lives,
Right.
we need to think carefully about how to make sure it's used responsibly, ethically.
Yeah.
We need to consider things like bias in algorithms,
Okay.
data privacy,
No.
and the possibility of misuse.
So it's not just about celebrating the potential benefits.
Right.
It's also about recognizing the risks
Exactly.
and figuring out how to deal with them.
We need to have these conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're entering a new era
Yeah.
for AI.
Yeah.
Conversation needs to be more nuanced
Definitely.
and thoughtful.
More than just hype.
Yeah, we need to go beyond the hype
Right.
and start thinking about the real impact this technology will have
On society as a whole.
on society.
Yeah.
This deep dive has really taken us on a journey.
It has.
We started with a stock drop,
Mm-hmm.
and we've ended up talking about some pretty profound questions
Yeah.
about the future of AI and its impact on the world.
It's all connected.
It is.
It's amazing how these things can unfold.
You're right.
Yeah.
This whole thing has been like peeling back the layers of an onion,
I like that.
and each layer reveals something new and fascinating.
For sure.
But before we get too philosophical,
Okay.
I'm going to bring this back to the listener.
Yeah.
What does all this mean for you?
Right.
And how can you prepare for this changing AI landscape?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is to stay informed.
Okay.
Stay curious.
Mm-hmm.
Keep learning about the latest developments in AI,
Yeah.
how it's being used in different industries.
Right.
Don't be afraid to experiment with new tools and platforms.
Mm-hmm.
And think about how you can use AI to improve your own work
Okay.
or your creative pursuits.
So it's about embracing this
Okay.
change and seeing it as an opportunity to learn and grow.
Yeah, AI is a tool that can really empower us, but we need to be proactive, informed, and engaged to use it effectively.
That's great advice.
Yes.
And as we wrap up part 1 of this deep dive,
Okay.
it's clear that the future of AI is anything but predictable.
Right.
There are so many possibilities,
Yeah.
so many unknowns,
For sure.
but that's what makes it so exciting,
Absolutely.
dynamic.
It's a fascinating field.
It is.
Yeah.
So stay curious,
Okay.
keep exploring,
All right.
and never stop asking questions.
I like it.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we've talked about how DeepSeek is shaking things up with their software approach to AI.
Yeah.
But where are we seeing this play out in the real world?
So DeepSeek's tech is already being used in a bunch of different industries.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. For example, in medical research,
Okay.
they're helping scientists analyze like huge amounts of genetic data
Okay.
to try to find targets for new drugs.
Mm.
This kind of analysis usually needs a ton of computing power,
Yeah, I bet.
but DeepSeek's algorithms can handle it with much less hardware. Oh, wow.
Which makes it way more affordable for research institutions.
So they're actually like speeding up medical discoveries
Exactly.
by making these tools available to more researchers.
That's the goal.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What other areas are they making an impact?
Another interesting example is finance.
Finance.
Yeah. Hedge funds and investment firms are using DeepSeek
Okay.
to build these really sophisticated trading algorithms. They can analyze market trends and find good opportunities.
So it's not just about being more efficient.
Right.
It's about giving them a competitive advantage.
Exactly.
Yeah, their technology could really disrupt things.
Definitely.
And that's what makes this whole situation so interesting.
Yeah, it's not just about a stock drop or a new company.
Right.
It's about like a fundamental change
Yeah.
in how we think about developing AI.
You're right. This goes way beyond just the technology.
It does.
It's a whole different mindset.
Yeah.
So what do you think this means for the future of AI?
Especially for people who don't have access to all these expensive resources.
Well, if DeepSeek keeps doing well,
Yeah.
it could really level the playing field.
Okay.
Imagine startups and small businesses competing with big tech companies
Wow.
because they don't need all this crazy expensive hardware.
It's like the difference between needing a giant factory to build a car and being able to just 3D print parts in your garage.
Exactly.
The possibilities are endless.
It could unleash so much innovation
Yeah.
if more people have access to these tools.
But like any big change,
Yeah.
there are bound to be some challenges and concerns.
For sure.
So what are some of the potential downsides?
Well,
Moving away from relying so heavily on hardware.
one concern is jobs.
Jobs.
Yeah, like as AI becomes more efficient and capable,
Uh-huh.
it could automate a lot of tasks that humans currently do.
Okay.
So while it could create some new opportunities,
Right.
it could also lead to job losses.
In certain areas.
Right.
That's a good point. What about the ethical side of things?
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah.
We need to be really careful.
Yeah.
As AI becomes more integrated into our lives,
Right.
we need to think about bias,
Okay.
data privacy,
Mm.
the potential for misuse.
So it's not all sunshine and roses.
No,
We have to be realistic about the potential risks.
exactly.
Figure out how to manage them.
We need to have those tough conversations.
This deep dive has really been eye-opening.
It has.
We started with the stock drop,
Yeah.
and we've ended up talking about some really deep questions.
It's all connected.
It is.
Yeah.
It's like we've been peeling back the layers of this onion,
I like that analogy.
and each layer reveals something new.
Absolutely.
But before we get too philosophical,
Okay.
we're going to bring this back to you, the listener.
Right.
What does all this mean for you?
Good question.
How can you prepare for these changes in the AI world?
Well, the most important thing is to stay informed,
Okay.
stay curious, keep learning about what's happening with AI, how it's being used. Don't be afraid to try new tools and platforms.
Right.
And think about how you can use AI to improve your own work
Okay.
or your creative projects.
So embrace the change.
Exactly.
See it as an opportunity to grow.
Yeah. AI is a powerful tool.
Yeah.
It can empower us in so many ways.
Yeah.
But we need to be proactive. We need to be informed.
Yeah.
We need to be engaged.
To really use it effectively.
That's the key.
That's great advice.
Thanks.
And as we wrap up part 2 of this deep dive,
Okay.
it's clear that the future of AI is full of surprises.
Definitely.
There are so many possibilities
Yeah.
and so many things we don't know yet.
For sure.
But that's what makes it so exciting.
Absolutely.
The dynamic field,
Always changing.
always changing.
Yeah.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
We started with what seemed like a simple stock drop, and we've gone all the way to talking about a huge potential shift in AI.
It's been a pretty interesting journey.
It has.
Yeah.
Exploring the rise of software like DeepSeek.
Right.
And what it could mean for industries, jobs, and even ethics.
A lot to think about.
And as we've discussed, this shift towards software-driven AI, it could have a big impact on everyone.
For sure.
It can mean more affordable AI tools.
Yeah.
Giving people access to this technology in ways they never thought possible.
Exactly.
But it also raises some important questions.
Right.
About the future of work, the responsible use of AI,
Definitely.
and the need for continuous conversation and critical thinking.
I need to stay engaged.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This isn't just about watching these changes happen.
Right.
It's about being a part of them.
We all have a role to play.
As AI becomes more and more integrated into our lives, it's crucial to stay informed.
Okay.
Ask questions. And be part of the conversation about how we want to shape the future of this technology.
Couldn't agree more.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with one final thought.
That's good.
Something to ponder as you navigate this ever-evolving world of AI.
All right.
If the reliance on traditional GPUs decreases, like DeepSeek's success suggests, how will this change the balance of power in the AI industry?
Interesting question.
Will it create a more decentralized and democratized landscape, or will new gatekeepers emerge?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
Will we see a future where anyone can develop AI?
Right.
Regardless of how much money they have or how much computing power they can access?
Exactly.
Or will new power structures emerge?
It's hard to say for sure.
It is.
But the answer probably lies somewhere in between.
Yeah.
And it's up to all of us to shape that outcome.
Through our choices, our actions, our engagement with this incredible technology.
So stay curious.
Okay.
Stay informed and stay engaged.
I like it.
The future of AI is being written right now.
It is.
And you have a role to play in shaping it.
That's a powerful thought.
That's all for this deep dive.
Great episode.
Until next time, happy exploring.